That ticket was worth $456 million and was sold in Lancaster County.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Showers and thunderstorms likely mainly before 5 p.m. today, otherwise mostly cloudy with a high of 82 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms mainly before 1 a.m. overnight tonight, low down to 69. Tomorrow, a chance of showers and thunderstorms after 11 a.m. with a high of 88 degrees. Same on Sunday with those showers and thunderstorms after 11 a.m. High is going to be up to 89. Monday, a chance of showers with a thunderstorm also possible after 2 p.m. with a high of 88 degrees. And that is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, beavercountyradio.com, all presented by St. Barnabas.
Your community, your radio stations, originating from the St. Barnabas Control Studio in Beaver County. 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
It is Teleforum on Beaver County Radio, part of the St. Barnabas Radio Network. Joining me now, and I'm very excited about this for a couple reasons. One, it allows me to stop talking about the gibberish I was talking about. Two, it welcomes Kellie and Jeremiah on the program with me now. Kellie and Jeremiah Wimer from St. Barnabas Home Care. This is being live streamed. This is on Facebook. If you've got questions about home care, one or both of these two wonderful people are going to be able to sort through it. You can call with your questions. You can post your questions on the Facebook feed in the comments section. If you call, it's 724-843-1888, or you can call 724-774-1888. First off, Kellie, wonderful, thank you. And how you doing?
Good.
All right. And Jeremiah? Jeremiah and I have already bonded. He says yes, sir, to everything, and that made me sit up straight. First things first, St. Barnabas Home Care. Kellie, what is your job with St. Barnabas?
I am the executive director of St. Barnabas Medical Center, and I oversee the daily operations of our home care department.
All right, so that means, Jeremiah, she's your boss.
Yes, sir.
Yes, see, that there it is. I'll ask you this first, Jeremiah, and then I'll get to the big picture with Kellie. What's the difference between home care and home health? Because those are two terms I see. I assume they're the same. They're not the same, are they?
No.
Okay. Well, what's the difference?
Home health is going to be basically definition is medical services provided at home to treat a chronic health condition or help you recover from illness, injury, or surgery. Some people start with home health care after a health decline or getting diagnosed with a serious medical condition. Many people transition to home health care after a stay in the hospital, rehab center, or skilled nursing facility. The primary goals are to help people recover and stay as independent as possible. Home health provides skilled services including nursing care and physical, occupational, speech, and respiratory therapy. The agency will send a licensed professional to assess home health needs and develop a complete care plan. These services are usually short-term, as in the case of a person recovering from surgery or other health issues. Medicare will cover home health if it is ordered by a physician and the person is homebound and in need of skilled services. Services are usually covered for a 60-day episode of care. However, if an individual is enrolled in Medicare HMO, known as Medicare Advantage Plan, services are authorized on a per-visit basis.
All right, let me ask you this, Kellie. Is this a growing thing? This is one of the departments that you oversee. Is this a department that is growing as the population ages? How much more of the time do you have to give to this one department that you oversee?
Home health, it is a growing service, especially a lot of patients, they don't like to keep patients in the hospital. They like to get them home as soon as possible, in fear of infection. And our job is to keep them at home as much as possible with all of our services, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and then we also have the licensed registered nurse that goes in and sees the patient.
All right. who would be in the market to look at home care options? Is there any set patient that's coming out? Is it just anybody coming out of the hospital because the hospital wants to get them out earlier?
There has to be a physician's order.
Okay.
And there has to be a need such as maybe physical therapy, medication management. Maybe there's some wound care that needs done for the patient. So we're there to provide those services to keep the patient at home.
How do people come to you?
It's usually a referral from either a skilled nursing facility, the hospital, or a physician's office. And there has to be, like I said, a physician's order for them to start home health services. They have to be homebound, meaning they're unable to get out of their house independently.
Okay, who determines that? The doctor's note?
The doctor's note, yes.
All right, and Jeremiah, when they come to you and they get into the home care, what are some of the questions they ask you? Because you're out of the hospital, you don't have the button anymore to call a nurse and ask her a question. Now it's going to fall on you. What are some of the things that you hear when you first take a patient into your program?
Correct. Some of the questions that you want to be asking for home health agencies are you licensed by the state? Are you certified by Medicare? Are the workers you send your employees or contracted employees? What kind of background checks do you conduct on your employees? If the worker does not show up when scheduled, will you send a replacement immediately?
Does that fall on you if that does happen? I can't imagine that happens very often, but who's the first person that gets hey, somebody didn't get here?
Basically, they would just call the office and we'll send somebody as soon as possible.
Okay.
There's a nurse on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's always somebody available.
You're looking for a home health agency. You talk about it licensed by the state. And if I've got a loved one going into home health, I want to know about how often am I going to be updated? That's all part of the process that you've thought through at St. Barnabas. You've got everything in a row and all of that's laid out. I basically look at this and think this is almost like a nursing home at home, but all of the guidelines still absolutely have to be followed.
Yes, you're right. And we also have a plan of care in place for every patient so they know what their goals are, what we're working towards for them to go home or to do, to be independent themselves. That's our ultimate goal, for them to learn maybe to change that dressing themselves or be able to give, that insulin injection by themselves.
Yeah, to make them independent, to work them towards that.
Yes.
And that's laid out when you start with the patient from the very beginning and everybody knows?
That's shared with their caregiver, the patient, so they know their ultimate goal.
How often does it happen that their ultimate goal is unreasonable compared to what your ultimate goal is for them? Their expectations are, I want you to come here, Jeremiah, and I want you to come here twice, and then do you ever get patients like that you have to say, look, this might be a longer process? How do you counsel the patients? We have a
medical social worker that we can send out to help the patient and stuff. We can also work with their physician that they normally go to try to explain the situation a little bit better and what kind of services they need to continue to actually get back to the level of care that they were before going to the hospital or something like that.
Does it swing that way or does it swing the other way? People say, no, I'm not ready to be on my own.
Usually they're asking for more days.
Yes.
Do they?
Yeah, they enjoy having somebody come to the house and being able to live at home instead of going into the hospital.
All right, that was my next question. Aside from the medical, talk about the social that's being provided, because you're out of the hospital, you still need help, you might be sitting alone. How much more of that is part of the job than just medical?
I think it's a lot of the job because individuals are a little nervous coming out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And with the services, they know that somebody's just a phone call away that can come out to the house and answer questions or help them if they need it.
And how often, since you're over, how many different departments do you oversee? I meant to ask you that.
Our home care department, hospice, 2 dental departments, and a general medicine department.
So do you ever sleep?
Sometimes. No, I do sleep.
All right. What's the most rewarding part about your job, Kellie? Because that's a lot of moving parts.
I think able to meet the patient's needs, making them happy, the families happy, and making them feel better.
All right, what did you, before you did this, were you in a medical background? How did you end up doing this?
I'm a registered nurse, and I have been at St. Barnabas 32 years. So
Okay.
I've grown up there.
I'm going to go ahead and say it out loud. My mom came up in nursing. She's your boss, right, Jeremiah?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say something, and you don't have to say it out loud, but nod. She don't take no crap from nobody, does she? That's what I thought. All right. What led you to nursing to start with? Because that's a brilliant combination. A lot, and you know this firsthand. A lot of medical facilities aren't like St. Barnabas. A lot of medical facilities, the administrators are administrators. They didn't come through medicine.
I like taking care of the patients. I like making people happy, smile, able to meet their needs.
Was there ever any issue with burnout? 30 years in any profession can wear you out, but 30 years in medicine, caring for others.
One thing at St. Barnabas, we're very diverse, and I've worked several different buildings. I've worn many different hats, so I think that's kept me there a lot. And I like the people I work with. That's huge.
As an administrator now, do you still have the medical interactions that you used to when you were nursing?
I do sometimes. I don't have the hands-on like I used to, but I do still talk with families. We have educational series that we provide. So I do have some interaction, yes.
Jeremiah, what about you? How'd you end up where you are? After 12 years in the Air Force, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I love that.
I was an EMT for a while before I joined the Air Force. And
Okay, so neither one of you take crap from nobody. You got a 30-year nurse and a military police.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did 12 years with the Air Force and then moved back home. I've been a nurse for going on 12 years.
All right, when you not in medical when you were in the service?
I did criminal investigations.
You were an MP.
Yep.
When you came back, what made you think, okay, I'm going to go do this now?
I like the aspect of being able to help people and help the families. So medical was the best.
How long have you done this?
I've been with St. Barnabas for 6 years, but in the medical field for about 12 now.
And it's everything that you hoped it would be when you thought, yeah, I'll go do that with the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. All right, Jeremiah Wimer.
Yes, sir.
I got it right. Yeah. And Kellie. See, yours is easy.
Yes.
They're my guests. We're talking about home care, the difference between home health and home care with St. Barnabas Home Care. News is coming up here in just a little bit. I'm not done talking to you guys, though.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
You don't have to be headed back to school or have kids or grandkids enrolling in class to still earn something at this time of year. This is Andy Dangle from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. Today's lesson is on reading. If you are thinking about buying a car or recently bought one, make sure you read the fine print on the dealer financing contract. Remember, the dealer's goal is to sell you the car and not necessarily to get you the best interest rate. Keep this simple rule in mind. Check with Freedom United before you write the check. Even if you already purchased a vehicle and the dealer financed it somewhere else, bring your paperwork into Freedom United Federal Credit Union. Refinancing and saving you money is easy and takes just a few minutes. We'll do all the work. After all, this is where the interest is in you. That concludes today's lesson on reading. Visit freedomunitedfcu.com, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
It's easier than ever to connect with Pittsburgh-based Goldberg, Persky & White. With offices in Pittsburgh, Johnstown, and Weirton, the mesothelioma attorneys can easily come to you. For a free consultation, you can email GPW at info@gpwlaw.com, call 1-800-COMPLEX, or get your questions answered immediately by connecting the GPW's online chat representatives who are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at gpwlaw.com. Goldberg, Persky & White, working lawyers for working people. Your community, your radio stations, originating from the St. Barnabas Control Studio in Beaver County. 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
It is Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. Kellie is my guest, and Jeremiah Wimer is my guest. And we were just talking off the air, and you both, I think, will agree with me. And even if you don't, I'm still going to say it. Let's be honest. Nurses run the joint.
Definitely.
Go ahead. You can say it.
They definitely do.
All right. Nurses are the ones that take care of the patients more than anybody else. Is that part of what you drew you to the job, Jeremiah? Because it is a daily hands-on thing. It's not administrative. It's a very different thing.
Right. That's what drew me to it, because you actually get to talk with the patient and the family a lot more.
And how much better? What have you learned? What did you say, 6 years? 12 years? How long? No, 6 years doing this.
6 years with St. Barnabas.
With St. Barnabas.
Yep.
What do you know now that you didn't know 6 years ago that you think, man, I'm glad somebody schooled me up on that? You're grinning.
Just how you have to change the situation with different patients and families. You have to adapt right there on the fly usually, because one patient might be doing bad and the family's in a grief status.
Right.
And then another patient might be doing good and getting excited to go home. So you get to see all aspects of the person's care.
Is that a little bit less traumatic for you, Kellie, now that you don't do that every day? More of an admin, because the ebbs and flows and the peaks and valleys of dealing with people's health care, is that something that maybe you don't miss, or do you still miss that because that's a part of the experience?
I think there'll always be a part of me. Yes, you do miss that.
Do you? I
think you spend more time with the families and the patient than you do your own family. I mean, you're at work all day and spend a lot of, and you get very close with the patients and the families.
There's an emotional attachment and an emotional
absolutely.
connection that.
Yes.
Now, is that true more with home care than other?
I think throughout our whole health system. I mean, you laugh with them, you cry with them.
Yeah.
You get very, very attached.
All right, Kellie is my guest. Jeremiah Wimer. I don't know why I can't read my own writing. I'm calling you yes, sir. We're going to go with that. But more with home care and St. Barnabas. News is next on Teleforum.
For an entrepreneur, life and business go hand in hand. Getting the most out of both sometimes can be as simple as a new idea or an insightful conversation. Join attorney and author Rocco Kaza, along with realtor and podcaster Eric McKenna, for The Entrepreneur Life, Beaver County Radio's newest show. The Entrepreneur Life airs from 10:30 to 12:30 this and every Saturday morning. Listen on Beaver County Radio or watch the video stream on Facebook and YouTube. Don't just get busier, become happier, and ultimately wealthier. Tune in to The Entrepreneur Life Saturday starting at 10:30 on Beaver County Radio.
Computers and internet searches can be very helpful for discovering information, but not always when it comes to researching medical conditions and finding help. Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy recently discussed this topic in a radio interview.
A lot of patients come in and they say, well, I Googled this and it didn't really help. Well, I understand, we Google things and we want to get information, but Google's not going to assess you personally. Google's going to give you an overall possibility to what could be going on with you, but you really need the eyes of the professional and the hands-on, the professional like what we have at MRS Physical Therapy to steer you in the right direction for what exercises should help you out. And then you're going to be getting the hands-on skills that we provide to help work on your soft tissue, to help relax the muscles, to help make it feel better.
If you need physical therapy for any reason, choose the place that your friends and neighbors do. MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry Physical Therapy in Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com.
It started with a road trip into the American Midwest. Huntington bankers with one mission, to understand how people made sense of money. And that's how we met Brenda.
How do I control money? Envelopes. The first of the month, I divide up my cash. One envelope for groceries, one for gas, one for fun. It helps plan out my spending.
And that's how we came up with digital envelopes for your checking account. Our customers give us the best ideas. Huntington, welcome. Member FDIC. Learn more at huntington.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning. As today's forecast is calling for showers and thunderstorms likely, mainly before 5 p.m. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly cloudy today. High's going to be up to 82 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County Radio weekend weather forecast right after we have this look at news. The U.S. EPA is warning people who live near a medical sterilization facility in Jackson Township, Butler County, about a potential increased health risk. An EPA analyst indicates ethylene oxide emissions from the American Contract Systems facility may cause cancer if someone is exposed over a long period of time. The facility is located in Jackson's Point Commerce Park and uses ethylene oxide to sterilize medical equipment and materials. Well, the Best of the Valley Awards were held at the Fez in Hopewell Township last night, and some members of our St. Barnabas family were up for nominations. St. Barnabas Dental's Dr. Henry Wendell, the Tuska Shop and Save, and Beaver Meadows were all finalists of one sort or another in many categories, but unfortunately we didn't win in any of those categories. Representing St. Barnabas last night at the gala at the Fez in Hopewell was Jill Miller, Katie Snyder, Mark Piccarelli, and Beaver County Radio General Manager Mark Peterson. PennDOT is announcing inspection activities on Route 68. The bridge over Norfolk Southern Railroad tracks in Vanport Township will occur today, weather permitting. Single-lane restrictions controlled by flaggers will occur on Route 68 between Barclay Hill Road and Sebring Road from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Crews from Mackin Engineering and Sophus Rigging Company will conduct bridge inspection work. Motorists should be prepared for changing traffic patterns. They're asking you to please use caution when you are driving through the area. United States Representative Connor Lamb is now accepting applications from qualified students in Pennsylvania's 17th District who seek a nomination to one of the United States Service Academies. Applications are due by 5 p.m. on Friday, September the 23rd. The honor of attending a military service academy comes with the obligation and commitment to serve in the military for a minimum of 5 years upon graduation. Members of Congress may nominate candidates for appointment to 4 of the 5 U.S. service academies. Applicants are encouraged to consider applying to multiple service academies. In addition, applicants are also encouraged to apply for all the nominations for which they may be eligible, including but not limited to U.S. Senators for Pennsylvania Bob Casey and Pat Toomey, as well as the Vice President of the United States. To be considered for nomination, applications must submit a completed application on Congressman Lamb's website by 5 p.m. on September the 23rd. For instructions on what is needed to file an application, you can go to our website at beavercountyradio.com. A West Virginia man has been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison after sending emails that threatened Dr. Anthony Fauci and another federal health official. The Justice Department says that Thomas Patrick Connolly Jr. used an anonymous email account based in Switzerland to threaten to kill Fauci or members of his family. Fauci is President Joe Biden's chief medical advisor and has been a vocal supporter of vaccines and other preventative measures against the COVID-19. Another target was Dr. Francis Collins. He was director of the National Institute of Health at the time of Connolly's threats. Connolly also admitted to sending emails threatening Pennsylvania's previous health secretary and an unidentified public official in Massachusetts. The American job market has defied raging inflation, rising interest rates, and growing recession fears. Month after month, U.S. employers just kept adding hundreds of thousands of workers. But now economists worry that signs of weakness are starting to turn up in hiring, threatening one of the United States' last remaining redoubts of economic strength. Job openings are down, and the number of Americans signing up for unemployment benefits is up. Forecasters on average expect the economy to have picked up another 250,000 jobs last month. That would be a solid number in normal times, but a big declaration for 2022. Employers have been hiring an average of 457,000 workers a month so far this year.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Showers and thunderstorms likely, mainly before 5 p.m. today. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a high of 82 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms mainly before 1 a.m. overnight tonight, low down to 69. Tomorrow, a chance of showers and thunderstorms after 11 a.m. with a high of 88 degrees. Same on Sunday with those showers and thunderstorms after 11 a.m. High is going to be up to 89. Monday, a chance of showers with a thunderstorm also possible after 2 p.m. with a high of 88 degrees. And that is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA, BeaverCountyRadio.com, all presented by St. Barnabas.
Where the listeners of Beaver County have a voice. Teleforum with Eddie Crow, 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888.
It is Teleforum, and it is a much more pleasant last hour than the first couple for several reasons. Number one, I ain't got to talk about politics. Number two, I'm getting to talk to Kellie and Jeremiah. Kellie and Jeremiah Wimer are with me from St. Barnabas Home Care, and it's been a much more pleasant conversation. How do you like working for St. Barnabas? And let me preface that. I'm not a huge fan of not being able to find the person in charge to ask them stuff. I didn't know how it was going to be. What did you think it was going to be, and what do you think it is? I have been every day pleasantly surprised by it, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Jeremiah, what's it like?
When I moved back, I was coming from a big organization out in Oklahoma.
What, the Air Force?
Actually, no, I was a nurse out there after I got out of the Air Force.
I got you, okay.
So coming from a big organization, I heard highly about St. Barnabas, so I put my application in and got hired, and ever since day one, it's been an amazing organization from your managers all the way up to the very top. Mr. Day really takes care of all of his staff and people.
And Kellie is as somebody that came up as a healthcare provider that now does that, but administration as well. How rare is that to have access to people that can actually answer your questions? Because you've seen the corporate side of medicine, I'm sure.
I have seen St. Barnabas grow, and when I first started there, we didn't have a radio station or a gas station. It's just exploded, and along the way, everybody has been phenomenal. Mr. Day, I mean, he's out there. He knows the employees by their names. He
knows me by my name, and that scared the bejeez out of me when he walked up and introduced himself. I'm like, it's like the principal seeing you in the hallway. It's different, isn't it?
Oh, he's very personable, very down to earth.
How much easier does that make your job?
A lot easier. Much easier.
Environment. People, and I know you guys know this, most people don't dislike jobs. They dislike the people they have to deal with their jobs, and vice versa.
And I love everybody that I work with.
I wanted to ask you something specific about home care, because I'm cheap. Medicare's accepted. Medicaid, walk me through that. And there are other options too. What if I don't need home care all the time? What if I need almost like an a la carte service? I'm good, except I probably don't need to be cooking my own meals. Are those different options available with what you offer?
Thing with home care, it doesn't go for the insurance. We talked earlier about home health.
Right.
And that all went for the insurance. With the home care, it's going to actually be private pay.
Okay.
And the cool thing about home care is the services that they provide is bathing, toiling, dressing and grooming.
The day stuff, the everyday stuff.
Right. So like meal preparation, companionship, medication reminders, stuff like that not necessarily has to be medical, but if you need a little bit extra help around the house, home care is your way to go.
It's the life stuff that you don't think about until you can't take care of it, right?
Right.
We'll take patients to doctor's office visits. We even walk dogs. We do a variety.
Really?
We do a variety.
I'll come work for you just to walk the dogs. What's the quickest way to get somebody to like you when they look down and they see that the dog likes you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We're talking about, I said home health care. Home health is a little bit different, but how do people get in touch with you if they have questions? Because when you deal with anything to do with medicine or loved ones, for every one question you think of at the time, 2 or 3 more are going to pop into your head afterwards. How do people?
I usually call the office. We go through a list of, services that we offer, and we also go out and we do home assessments to see.
What is a home assessment?
Where we'll stop in and we'll talk to the caregiver, the client, and see, what better way we can meet their needs. Maybe we might see something that they don't realize. Even fall prevention, just taking a look around their house, see, how to prevent falls, or maybe they need some medication management, reminders. Just a variety of services.
How much are these needs growing, Jeremiah?
They're growing quite a bit because a lot of people, they don't want to go into a hospital and stuff like that. A lot of families would like to keep their loved ones at home as long as possible and keep them independent. So with home health and home care, it actually helps out the people a lot because they're able to stay at home and keep their independence longer.
That's a big deal for people. Is that the number one thing you hear about is like, okay, when do I not need you guys to come help me anymore?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Is it?
People they like the peace of mind, if their loved one's going to be safe, and we're there to meet their needs. I mean, that's very important.
Do the more difficult questions come from the patient or from the patient's family?
Usually the families, because they can see deficits with the patient that they're not actually seeing. The patient might be like, oh, I can still do that. But the family's right there and saying, no, you shouldn't be really using the stove right now.
Is that one of the first things? My daughter's convinced I shouldn't be allowed near a stove, and I'm fine with it. But it's the simple stuff, and that's the frustrating stuff for people because that's a reminder. It's like I can't do what I used to. In terms of emotional support or psychological services offered?
We do companionship. So even if they want somebody to come and just sit with their loved one for a while they're at work or they're out doing grocery shopping and stuff, we provide that service also.
When people call you, how often do they know what services they want? And how often do you have to say, that's a little of this? And are they informed when they call you, or is that when you start and you inform them and walk them through the different services and the different processes?
I think they might be somewhat informed. It depends, but for the most part, I think we're the ones asking the questions.
All right, what questions are you asking? You get called and you come to my house, and you're going to do, what did you call it? An assessment.
An assessment.
All right, what are the questions you're asking me? I'll answer them honestly. Go ahead.
Are you able to prepare your meals by yourself?
Yes, mostly.
Are you able to get to the store to buy groceries?
Okay.
What else would
That's the life stuff that you don't know. You don't realize it until all of a sudden you can't do it.
Reordering medications, like we'll look at the medications and see, maybe they need to reorder and we don't want them to run out. So we'll call their doctor for them and reorder the medication.
Okay.
Or we've even picked it up at the pharmacy and brought it back to their house for them.
And there's nonstop communications between St. Barnabas and Jeremiah, between you visiting people and the doctors and the medications.
Yes, sir.
And you see these people often enough, you can tell if something changes, can't you?
Right. And I think that gives the families a peace of mind knowing that there's other people in there taking care of their loved ones when they're not there.
You talked about companionship. How often does that come up? I want somebody to come and sit and hang out with me for a while.
That actually quite a bit. I mean, we have patients that just want somebody to go out to dinner with them, to drive them there and talk with them, and for companionship, because they don't have anybody else or their family lives away. So it's somebody, to talk to.
Can that be overwhelming a little bit, knowing that you might be that patient's only interaction for the day or a couple of days? It seems like if I'm going into a dinner and I know that, I feel a lot of pressure to have a really good conversation with that person. Do you feel that way?
I think most of the companions, when they go, they know the patient so well because they use our services weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just picking up like with an old friend and just picking up the conversation when we come back.
Talk about insurance or services covered. I saw long-term insurance can cover the services.
It depends. Not every patient or client has long-term care insurance, but mostly it's private pay.
Okay. I'm curious. We talked about how long you've been doing it, and Jeremiah. That seems to be the case with a lot of St. Barnabas employees that I meet. They've been there a long
There's
time.
a lot of longevity at St. Barnabas.
Is that true with,
yes.
with your groups?
Yes, absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
I think we like the people we work with. We like our patients. I think that's very important.
Is there a typical background for a caregiver? Because I military, police, and Air Force to nursing for St. Barnabas, that's not something that I would have connected mentally. Maybe there's not a typical, is there?
There's not, but we train our staff. Some people they've done something, maybe they might have been in housekeeping, and we've had people transfer because they wanted to care for the patients. So we train them. They go through probably several weeks of training before we put them out there by themselves, or probably close to 2 months before they're out there by themselves. And when they feel comfortable.
And they'll tell you and be honest, just like the patients will tell you and be. Yeah, they're very honest, very, very, very quickly. What would you be doing, Jeremiah, if you weren't taking care of people?
I'm happy where I'm at, so probably just what I'm doing right now.
What other considerations were there? You came out of the military.
Probably staying in law enforcement.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad with the choice I made.
Why?
Just because I love nursing and just every aspect about it, and I'm blessed to be able to find St. Barnabas to work with for so long.
What's the best thing about nursing? You do understand it's rare for people to have a job that they love.
Just the interaction with the family and the patients, and knowing that you're there to hold their hand if needed or help them when they're sick or in pain.
Kellie, let me ask you this. How much better do you sleep at night knowing you spend a day making other people's lives better in the ways that you can make it better?
Oh, you definitely feel better when you're able to make somebody happy or make somebody feel better and see them smile.
Does that make it worth it? Long hours, the
absolutely,
the lunacy that can be a part of any medical profession?
Absolutely.
How is St. Barnabas doing, particularly the home care with employees? Because every time I turn on TV, everyone's hiring. Everyone's hiring. How are you doing with staffing?
Right now with our census, we're doing great. Now, would we like another nurse? Absolutely. We'd love to, grow our census, but we're right now we've held on. Our nurses, we have great nurses, great caregivers. Hasn't been bad. It hasn't been easy. COVID was. That was tough.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody was so scared, but we made it through.
Do you think we're through it now?
There's still things. I think the staff is more comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we've had a decline in the cases, but we've learned a lot of lessons. So I think we're good with that.
All right, Kellie is my guest, and Jeremiah Wimer is my guest with St. Barnabas Home Care. Kellie, I'll start with you. Is there anything that you wanted me to ask you that I didn't ask you?
I can't think of anything right now.
All right, Jeremiah, sir. You got that stuck in my head, I guess, sir.
No, you asked quite a bit. If anybody has any questions, they can always go to the St. Barnabas website.
Okay.
Or contact us.
Where are you going to be in 10 years, Jeremiah?
With St. Barnabas still.
Where are you going to be in 10 years? I know you're going to be running something somewhere. She's got the look.
I'm hoping retired.
Yeah?
I don't know. Probably not.
Kellie,
probably at St. Barnabas.
Well, no, here's what's going to happen. They're going to recognize the job you do. They ain't going to let you go nowhere. They're going to sweeten the pot. All right, Kellie and Jeremiah Wimer, my guest, because that's what good employers do. When they recognize good employees, they find a way to keep the good employees.
Right.
It's very, very simple. Jeremiah and Kellie, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
I got medical questions, but I'm going to save those for off the air. It's Teleforum. It's Beaver County Radio. It's the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
I'm Patty.
And I'm Bob. We're retired, and we live at St. Barnabas in the Village.
We used to have a house.
Lived in it for 40 years.
Raised our kids.
But it became too much. The upkeep, the stairs.
Moving seemed like such a hassle. We didn't even know where to start, so we didn't.
Until we met Cindy at St. Barnabas.
She talked us through our options.
Yeah, and she helped us with our move and all the arrangements.
There was so much stuff. Who knew we had 3 fondue pots?
But she made it easy.
So easy.
Now we enjoy ourselves.
Golf, the pool, new friends, shuttles to where we want to go.
The pub and the food.
So good.
There wasn't a long-term commitment or any large fees.
And they have a healthcare system on campus with doctors if we need it. The kids really like that.
The kids like to come and eat with us.
There's an easier, worry-free way to retire at the Village at St. Barnabas. Come visit us for a free and informative counseling session and personal tour.
I can't believe you waited so long.
I can't believe you waited so long.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700.
Hi, folks. I'm with our good friend John Diagardi from Roe Monument. John, you were telling me earlier that people really should not rush into choosing a memorial for their loved one. Now, why is that?
We found that families need to take ample time to grieve first. Grief is not something that we get over, but rather something that we learn to live with. So the length of time to grieve varies from person to person.
You mentioned that the monument can't be placed right away.
That's right. There are certain things that need to take place before a monument can be installed. So it's really worth taking time to think about how to plan and design a memorial that truly reflects a person's life. It's actually a healing activity that helps to alleviate grief.
John, this makes a lot of sense.
It does, and when the time is right to proceed, not only can Roe Monument help families choose and design their memorial, we can help them save as much as 50% by eliminating the middleman.
Thank you, John. Folks, you can learn more simply by visiting RoeMonuments.com.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxenberg, Garbett, Kellie & George. At Luxenberg, Garbett, Kellie & George, they have the resources available to see your case from start to finish. Attorney Larry Kelly.
You know, at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kellie & George, we're big boys. We assume all the costs, and we don't expect you to pay a penny. Now, what happens is, if you go to trial and the verdict is not favorable, you don't owe us any fees, nor do you reimburse us the cost. Now, if we're successful, then you'll pay a fee and you'll reimburse us the cost from the recovery. That's the way we do it at LGKG, and that's the way we've done it forever.
For your initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kellie & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kellie & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
You've been told you have neuropathy. Tired of the burning, numbness, tingling? Tri-State Neuropathy Centers in Beaver get results.
My legs were on fire from my toes to my knees. They were numb. I've gone to 46 doctors. I was desperate. Believe me, I was desperate. I would do anything to get better because my life wasn't the life I wanted. It's the first time I'm able to walk. I couldn't walk more than 3 or 4 steps. Now I can walk blocks.
And I went to doctors and they'd give me pills. My improvement has gone 60% and I'm on my way to 100%.
You know, don't listen to the neurologist when I tell you there's nothing that can be done. And once a nerve's dead, it's dead. Because there is something that can be done. I'm living proof of that.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers. Suffering from neuropathy? Visit marydancedin.com or call 724-940-9000. That's 724-940-9000 for Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, serving the entire Beaver County area.
When we walk, when we reach, when we play, we're moving through life. Lately, we haven't been moving enough. An estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily physical activity. This is a health crisis, and the solution is in our hands and our feet. It's on our shoulders. It's on our backs. It's in our souls. It's time to move and keep moving, America. Wherever you are, however you can. Movement reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. It improves your brain function, pain management, and immune system. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, increasing your strength and mobility and improving your quality of life through prescribed exercise and teamwork. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy. Visit ChoosePT.com.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Cynthia and Ed.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, out of the blue, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn or just stay at the stop sign. She wasn't even really sure where she was at. She was very concerned. It was very unsettling for her.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it, to bring the family in on it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Be a part of the conversation with Teleforum, weekdays from 9 till noon on WBVP, WMBA, and now at 99.3 FM.
Trying to think of a better way to go into the weekend. I can't come up with anything. Feel better about humanity just for the last hour. Kellie was my guest. Jeremiah Wimer was my guest, both from St. Barnabas Home Care. And it was such a soothing hour after the previous two, talking about the real world. To talk to people, number one, that are about giving back, because if you're not about giving back and making the world a better place for others, you're not doing the jobs that Kellie and Jeremiah do. That ain't your thing. If you want any information about St. Barnabas Home Care, it's all on the website. Literally everything from finding a doctor to careers, the resource center. It's stbarnabashealthsystem.com to get all that information. But I want to say thank you again to them, to Kellie and to Jeremiah. That was just about the perfect way for me to head into the weekend. I'm going to head into the weekend. I'm going to get a T-shirt that says Spaz on it. And I'm going to go loiter out in the gift shop of the Cracker Barrel screaming about the demon that is fake meat. If you just joined the program, none of that made sense. If you just joined the program, well, that's on you, because I started about 3 hours ago. It would have made more sense.
Back to school season means back to your credit union season. Before you pack the lunchbox, be sure and pack your wallet. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union and get the cash supply you'll need so that you can buy the school supplies that they will need. This is Cindy Hiladio. Again, stop into the principal's office and see me to sign up for an easy-to-manage personal signature loan. They're now available from $500 to $10,000 with approved credit. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden or Aliquippa today so that learning can begin tomorrow. Hurry, the school bell is ringing and you need to get ready. Special graduates accounts are also available for the student. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. It's the place that makes more sense for you. Friendly Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Tune in every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. for another insightful edition of Living Well, a special segment on Beaver County Radio designed to help you enjoy the best, most fulfilling, and healthiest life possible. Hosted by Dr. Joseph Maroon and Jeff Boast, and presented by St. Barnabas. Living Well, Saturday mornings at 8:30. right here on Beaver County Radio, WBVP Beaver Falls, WMBA Ambridge, along with 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM.
Whatever you do this weekend, recognize that it's a weekend to do something. I'm in such a benevolent mood. I think it rubbed off. If you come in Monday morning and you know that the world is a better place because of stuff you did over the weekend, you did like Kellie and Jeremiah Wimer. You contributed. You make the world a better place. I'm going to try. We'll see.
You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. America's employers added a surprising 528,000 jobs last month, restoring all the jobs lost in the coronavirus recession as the country's hiring boom continued. Wells Fargo senior economist Sarah House.
The jobs numbers that we're seeing is the clearest signal that we are not in a recession. So you tend to